Myself is Divya Bahal, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. The subject that we are going to continue is Mass Transfer Operations 2. Right? So in last lecture we started about various kinds of drying equipments. Okay, so carrying that forward, the next type of equipment which you will study is drum dryer. Okay, this is also one kind of drying equipment which is done to carry out the drying of your wet solid. Okay, so we first of all discuss the types of drying. Okay, the method, the mode of operation and the mode of heat transfer. So from that we know that the mode of operation is batch and continuous, whereas the mode of heat transfer is what? Direct and indirect. Okay, so here drum dryer, the classification is that it is a continuous type of heat transfer equipment. Okay, and the drying methodology, okay, the mode of heat transfer is what? Indirect heating. So this is continuous and indirect type of dryer. Okay, now about drum dryer. So what is its components? Okay, first of all, a cylindrical shell is used which is internally heated. Okay, internally your heating media is supplied, hence because of that indirect mode of heat transfer is occurring. The drum dryer, okay, it is rotated at about 1 to 10 rpm. Okay, now the drum is submerged in pool of slurry which is always agitated to avoid the settling of solid. Okay, so what you are doing, your slurry, whatever the media is there, okay, to which you have to dry off, it is always kept agitated, because if you are not agitating it, the solid, okay, under the influence of gravity it will settle down, and so homogeneous mixture would not be there, and if homogeneous mixture is not there, then the drum which is rolling over it, okay, uniformly the coating of your wet solid will not occur, right? So the slurry is always what? It is always agitated. The thickness of material is regulated by a spreader. So spreader is also one of the component of your drying equipment which evenly spreads out your slurry. Okay. Now knife is on the other end of the drum which scrapes off the dry product. Okay. So again another component is what? Knife. Right. Now this type of dryer is used for handling slurries and fine suspension. Right. Because here what you can see, coating of this slurry is happening. Okay, so you can imagine the application that it is generally used for wet slurries. Now the capacity of drum dryer is less as compared to the spray dryer, but the operating cost is low. Okay, so these are the certain important points about your drum dryer. Now let's look over its schematic figure. Okay, so in left hand side image you can see the real kind of drum dryer which is used, right? So you can see it is a cylindrical drum is there, okay, and you can see in the bottom you keep your wet slurry which is to be dried off. Okay, now back to the schematic figure, you can see that your liquid, how over the liquid slurry you are keeping your drum dryer such that it immerses into the wet slurry. Now the heating media, okay, it is passed inside of that shell, so it is internally heated. Okay, now here you can see that the spreader, the role of spreader is what? That it evenly coats your slurry over the shell, right? And the knife scraper, it scraps out your dry product. Okay, on the top of your this equipment, okay, what you keep your vacuum hood which takes out the moisture which is removed from the slurry, right? So this way your drying operation is carried out using what? Drum dryer. The next kind of dryer is your spray dryer. The mode of operation is what? It is continuous, whereas the heating mode is what? Direct heating is there, right? In this dryer, your liquid solution of slurry is fed in form of very fine droplets into the stream of hot gas inside a large drying chamber. Okay, from name you can see that spray means you are suspending your solution, okay, your wet slurry into form of very small droplets. Okay, this creates a large drying area. As you divide your wet slurry into small particles, okay, so what you are doing, you are increasing the interfacial area. Okay, more the interfacial area, it means more the drying rate is possible, because when we studied about the drying rate equation, okay, the rate of drying, it is directly proportional to the area available for drying, okay, the exposed wet area. The components here are what? First of all, you need to have a heating media, okay. Blowers are there which regulates the circulation of air, because, right. Then cyclone separator is there, spray nozzles or atomizers, okay. So these are the components. Now the product which is obtained, it is obtained in form of what? In form of dry powder, okay, which is then taken out by cyclone separator, okay. So here you can see the schematic figure. In a large drying chamber, what you are doing, you are atomizing your liquid feed, okay, in form of very small particles, right. Now the drying gas, it is passed through your drying chamber. You can see the heating through heating coils, okay. Through a heater, you are blowing your air. So the use of blower is what? To blow the air through this heating coil. Now from the bottom of it, you can see in a cyclone separator you are getting your dried product, okay. From the top of the cyclone separator you get your exhaust gas, and in the bottom you collect your dry particles. So this way your spray dryer, it works. Now the advantages and disadvantages of this dryer. First of all, the drying period is very short. So you can see within 2 to 20 seconds only you can carry out your drying operation. Now it is used to handle heat sensitive material, right. Then the product size is controlled. Of course you can see here also that your product size, okay, it's particles in powder form it is obtained. So the product size is very specific here. Operating cost is low, and a large capacity of your feed can be handled here. The disadvantage is that low solid content feed is needed, okay. Now because you have to spray, you have to atomize it, you can't use a sludge kind of feed, okay. It has to be slurry. A wet solution has to be treated in this method, in this dryer. Larger unit is needed, okay. So the size of your spray dryer, it is generally large. Of course, the maintenance part here is about atomizer, okay, because problem of plugging, okay, choking of your solid can happen in your atomizer. Then product built up on the interior wall. So these are the certain disadvantages and advantages of your spray dryer. Now the next type of dryer which is used is fluidized bed dryer. So from name you can see that the principle of application is what? Fluidization of your solid, okay. Now the mode of operation is what? It can be operated in batch wise also and in continuous way. And the mode of heating is what? Direct heating is there, right. So let's see what you do. Hot air is passed through the wet material at a velocity sufficiently enough to fluidize this wet material, but not high enough to cause pneumatic conveying, okay. So the velocity is very important here, that the velocity of hot gas should be that limited that it only suspends your wet solution, okay. You don't have to transfer it from one part to the end part of your chamber, of your drying chamber, okay. You just have to suspend it throughout your drying chamber, right. So velocity is very important. In fluid flow operation you might have studied, okay, that fluidization velocity is very important here. So you have to operate your velocity of hot gas such that conveying is not taking place. The components of this dryer are what? First of all, air blower, right, hot air generator, then cyclone separator and a product conveyor, okay. So these are the components. So heat and mass transfer coefficients are high because the turbulence is created. Again relate your other subjects of fluid flow, okay. Heat transfer, mass transfer coefficient, okay. What we studied about that in heat transfer and mass transfer subjects, that as you increase the turbulency, so these heat transfer and mass transfer coefficient increases. How you are increasing the turbulency? By increasing the velocity, right. So this way heat transfer and mass transfer coefficients are large. So heat transfer, what does it do? It increases the heat transfer rate. Mass transfer, ultimately what is the mass transfer here? Transfer of water, okay, from your wet solid to your dry gas, okay. So both this simultaneously, this processes increases. Now it is used for drying very fine size material, right, and it is suited for temperature sensitive material which are very prone to degradation on high temperature, right. So let's see, this is the schematic figure. You can see that this is your fluidized bed chamber, okay. You're feeding your wet material and from the bottom your hot flue gases suspending your this wet material, okay. and you're taking out the dry material this way. So this is a very simple description of your fluidized bed chamber. So the next kind of your dryer is your tunnel dryer. Okay, mode of operation is what? It is continuous, whereas the heating mode is what? It is direct heating. The dryer construction is in form of long tunnel where heating coils are attached. Okay, so from name tunnel dryer, it means your chamber. It is in form of very long tunnel where what you're keeping your heating coils in there. Now, how the mechanism is done? This is the schematic figure of your tunnel dryer. So you can see first of all the chamber. Okay, a long tunnel is there where you're keeping what your heating coils are kept, and the fan is kept over there, so air which is coming into it, okay, it is blown off and it will get heated up because of the heating coils. Now see how feed is inputted here. Okay, the trucks. Okay, it can be trays also, the removable trays in which you're keeping what your wet feed is there. Okay, batches of those trays are fed continuously and which travels enough path into the drying chamber. Okay, and because of its residence time, okay, how long it is kept into the drying chamber, your drying operation is carried out. Next topic is your liquid diffusion within the solid. Okay, so till now what we covered different kinds of your drying equipments. Now the next important topic is your liquid diffusion within the solid. Okay, this topic is about the mechanism, how liquid is Now the next topic is liquid diffusion within the solid, right? So this topic is about the mechanism, okay? How liquid, it diffuses within the solid, comes over to the surface, and from surface it goes to the dry air. Okay, so first of all what we need to know is that when you are taking your wet solid, okay, for example wet sand, if you are keeping it over your tray, okay, if you are subjecting over your tray, the liquid is evenly distributed in your solid, okay, because it is wet, it means it is evenly distributed in your solid. Now when you are carrying out your drying, so first of all you need to know about the drying is that it is a surface phenomena, okay, because the moisture is removing from where? From surface it is removing into your dry air, right? So internal concentration difference exists between your solid, okay, the amount of water, okay, water on your surface and that into the middle of your solid, okay, within the solid, that concentration always exists, right? So how the mechanism occurs is that first of all, to carry out the drying process, right, liquid from the middle of your solid, okay, from within the pores of that solid, it has to come to the surface, and then from surface it goes to the dry air. Okay, so here you can see that in the figure. Okay, into the small pores your liquid is always trapped. So liquid has to diffuse from this internal area to the surface, and then the moisture removal occurs, right? So this topic, it deals about how your rate is controlled, right? Here the first thing which you have to remember is that moisture diffusivity decreases with decrease in moisture content. Okay, in mass transfer operation 1 you might have studied about the liquid diffusivity. Okay, so now talking about the constant rate period. Okay, in constant rate period the rate of drying is what? Constant. Why? Because that is onset of drying. It means the moisture content is very high, and as moisture content is high, your diffusivity is also very high. Okay, so you can imagine that your mass transfer, okay, the transfer of your liquid is very fast. Instantly from the within of the solid it will transfer to the surface, and from surface it instantly transfer to the dry gas. Okay, so that way instantly fast removal of moisture is happening. So that because of that your moisture rate, your drying rate is what? Constant. Now as drying process further increases, okay, further accelerates, so what happens? Most of your moisture has been removed. Now dry spots appear. It means now the surface is what? Unsaturated. It is uneven in moisture. Okay, so now your diffusivity is less because the moisture content has been decreased. Now your drying rate is controlled by the moisture diffusion within the solid. Okay, here in the figure you can see through the pores the moisture diffusion is occurring. Okay, so now your drying rate is controlled by what? By this moisture diffusion. Okay, so in CRE we studied about that. What we studied, that the slow step, that is the rate determining step. So here what is your slow step? Moisture diffusion is your slow step, okay, because from the surface evaporation is happening, right, but that is happening very fast. But what is slow here? Within, okay, within the surface or within the solid, moisture diffusion is slow, okay. So here you can see that within the pores moisture transfer is slow. So that is your rate determining step, okay. Thus in falling rate period, as your diffusion is controlling, okay, because of that your falling rate period, in your falling rate period your rate is decreasing with decreasing moisture content, okay. We saw that it is a decreasing line, okay. With a decreasing slope your rate is decreasing. Why? Because your moisture content is also decreasing. That totally depends on what? That depends on the diffusion of your moisture within the solid, okay. So that is, this topic is about your liquid diffusion. So now the next topic is about your freeze drying. This is another kind of drying. Now first of all, what is another name of it? That is also called as sublimation drying. What is sublimation? Your solid, it directly gets converted into vapor, okay. The general evaporation process is what? Solid get converted into liquid, and from liquid it gets converted into vapor. But in sublimation, directly from solid it is getting converted into what? Vapor. So the process is what you're doing, the wet feed, okay, whatever the feed is, you're freezing it, it's solidified now, and then it is sent to the vacuum chamber, where under the vacuum, okay, you're reducing the pressure, and because of that the moisture which is present in the form of solid, it sublimes to vapor form, okay, and that way you are drying your solid. It is generally used in where? Food industry, okay, where your food, it cannot be even heated moderately, okay. You cannot heat it up to normal, like we can say 15 to 20 degrees Celsius also, because at that time thermal degradation may occur. So it is generally used where? In food industry and in pharmaceutical products also. So this was about your freeze drying. So let's see first of all about the pressure to temperature curve. So here you can see that in the solid and liquid region, okay, melting and freezing. So we are operating at that pressure temperature in the freeze drying, okay, where sublimation can occur. So that was about your freeze drying, and this was the end of your drying chapter. So that was for today's lecture. Thank you.